Roberto Zerbi is very close to becoming Tottenham Hotspur's new head coach. Reports are stating that he is to be given a 5-year contract and is likely to become one of the Premier League's highest earners. Pochettino has confirmed that there have been no talks between him and Tottenham Hotspur about taking on the managerial role. And Spurs legend Chris Waddle says a managerial change will not change anything at Spurs. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. This is another edition of Tottenham News. My name is Lee and I'm here to take you through all the news, reports and rumours coming out today. If you're new around here and you don't subscribe to the channel, please do give us a subscription, like, share and comment in the comment section below. If you're listening on audio platforms, please do consider following and leave a review if you can. So today is all about Roberto Zerbi. Monday's reports of the Italian and the possible appointment to Tottenham. The very latest is Fabrizio Romano has stated that Roberto Zerbi to Tottenham is really close. And here we go, is expected soon. The club really admire his tactical quality and his connection to the players. Football London have stated the feeling within Spurs is that they are closing in on Roberto Zerbi. Journalist Ben Jacobs has stated that Roberto Zerbi is now close to an agreement with Spurs following a breakthrough in talks. A 5-year contract is on offer. Various reports in Italy are stating Tottenham have offered guarantees to build a strong and competitive team for the coming seasons to Roberto Zerbi in the hope of convincing him to join the club. TalkSport are stating that Tottenham are still pushing for Zerbi and are willing to offer a big relegation survival bonus to persuade him to take over as the manager now rather than in the summer. Former Spurs midfielder and manager Tim Sherwood on the potential appointment of Roberto Zerbi on Sky Sports. For anyone going in now, you have to put a question mark on it because you've only got to get 7 games. I like him, I really do. I like his personality. I said many months ago that he would be the man to come into Tottenham. I wouldn't have picked him over Mauricio Pochettino for the long term because he plays that style Tottenham fans want to play. He opens up the pitch, but not now. The style is not needed now. What they need now is a safe pair of hands. This is far from a safe pair of hands. I still like him, I love his personality and the way his teams play, but they can be open and can get hammered in some games. You can't get hammered between now and the end of the season. We saw it in his Marseille team play against Liverpool with an open style. He's got his own mind and does it his way, so that's my only reservation. I think he can get them over the line. I think he's perfect manager for Tottenham to have taken them forward. The main priority is just to keep them in the league. He would not be the firefighter type manager who comes in for this 7-game period. He wanted to have a break after Marseille in February, but why didn't they bring him in then? Why didn't they bring him in before Igor Tudor? You have to give him another 7 games to go at. Then I would have had total confidence that he would keep them in the league. They obviously didn't want him then. He was available, but they didn't want him. Former Spurs boss Mauricio Pochettino on links to Tottenham Hotspur and Real Madrid. He has said, no one has approached me, but who knows what's going to happen. Mauricio Pochettino on whether he thinks Spurs will stay up. Yes, they can stay up, of course. It is a difficult time, but they have the capacity to win or with or without a new coach. And Spurs legend Chris Waddle on Tottenham's current situation. I don't think a new manager at Tottenham changes a thing. The players aren't good enough, and that isn't going to change if a new manager comes in. I'm looking at the squad, looking at individuals that I don't think like they've got the stomach or the ability to pull the club out of the hole it's in. I had some great years at Tottenham and I've had a lot of affection for the club. I have a huge amount of respect for the fans and feel for them. It's sad to watch what has happened to the club this season. Look at the managers that Tottenham have had in the recent years. Antonio Conte, Jose Mourinho. These are proven winners. Did anything change? It's not about the managers, it's about changing the culture at the top of the club. Tottenham have the best stadium in the country and the best training facilities. They don't have the best players, and until the board changes its recruitment policy, then the club will always struggle. They won't ever be able to challenge at the top of the table. Am I confident they will do it? Nothing I've seen from this group of players convinces me that Tottenham will be playing in the Premier League next season. Strong words. Just to finish off, a little international update. Rando Kolo Muani earned his first cap for France in almost 10 months as his nation enjoyed a 3-1 win over Colombia on Sunday night. Having been an unused substitute in France's 2-1 victory over Brazil on Thursday, the forward was called off the bench on 63 minutes in Maryland, USA, with his side 3-0 up against a Davison Sanchez Sporting Colombia. France 3-0 up when Randall entered the game to pick up his first cap as a Spurs player and his first since last summer's Nation League finals. It was our number 39's 32nd international cap of his career to date, with him becoming the first Spurs player to feature for France since Hugo Lloris made his final appearance for the country in the 2022 World Cup final. Wow. So, yeah, of course, everything is just all about Roberto De Zerbi, isn't it? And I'm not sure what else really can be said about it. We don't know yet. I haven't yet seen anything concrete say that that's definitely the case. But with everybody reporting on it, it would seem that that is where we're going. Big contract, 5-year contract, which is not something we normally do, considering our managers change every sort of 18 months. So that's a big risk in my view, because he hasn't done more than 2 years odd for any of his clubs. We don't keep managers for more than 2 years. And so they're ending up potentially paying a 3-year contract up after 18 months, which is another huge waste of money when you consider the amount of compensation that this club is paying out consistently for new managers. A bonus to keep us in the Premier League makes sense. Guarantees about next year, who they're going to buy, what kind of support he's going to get, all makes sense. But is that not what they do for every manager? And do we really believe that? You've got to start showing it. In my view, it's not about saying it; it's about showing it. So I'll be interested to see what comes of that. Tim Sherwood, obviously, him saying that we wanted, we obviously didn't want him, so we went with Tudor. I'm not necessarily sure that's true. From what I understand, he didn't want to come until the summer, and they've had to work really hard to make these concessions. So 5-year contract, guarantees on who they're buying, clauses, and a bonus for staying up. That suggests to me that they've been trying to convince him for a while. So maybe Pochettino was never on the table. We'll have to wait and see, ultimately if that ever does materialise. The other thing he said is he's not there as a firefighter. He's not the sort of guy who's going to get us out of trouble. Better for the long term than the short term. Well, ultimately, if he's going to be there for the long term, then he may as well come now and learn what he can between now and the end of the season. If he manages to keep us up, great. If he doesn't keep us up, then I don't think anyone's going to keep us up anyway. I think this is about the players rather than the actual manager and what they can put into it. Which kind of brings me on to Chris Waddle's comments about whether he believes these players are good enough to get anything anything done? Have they got the heart? Have they got the ability? Are they good enough? And so on. And I think that's what we've all been saying. I think most YouTube channels have probably been saying the same. Fans have probably been saying the same. These players aren't good enough. They haven't got the heart. They haven't got the commitment. They haven't got the work ethic. Who's going to give that to them? Who's going to make them think that they really want to do this? That they really want to achieve something? Where's their own level of pride? Where's their effort for the fans, and so on and so forth? So there's a fair bit to kind of think about from that point of view, but we've got to do something. The problem is, as has been said, really, this needs to come from the top all the way through. We need to know what's the plan, what's the identity we're going with. Make a plan, stick to it, but communicate with the fans what we're trying to do. What are we trying to achieve? What style of play do we want to play? What kind of recruitment are we going to do? How much are we going to spend? What sort of manager do we want? Are we going to be able to replicate it throughout the whole club, as opposed to everyone playing different styles and no one knowing what everyone wants and all the rest of it? You have to kind of bring these things through and see it through to end. The biggest issue for me is they haven't told us as fans what they're trying to do, but then they haven't shown us what they're trying to do. Vinay Venkatesham was brought in to be the link with the fans. He's the guy that's going to tell us exactly what's going on, what they're trying to do, give us transparency, all that kind of stuff. That's what he was brought in to do. That's what Daniel Levy didn't do. That's why he became the butt of everything. He took all the pressure, rightly so. But Venkatesham is the man who's supposed to change all that. He's supposed to come in and say to us, look, this is what we're trying to do. This is how we're going. This is what we're trying to achieve. I'm talking to the FAB, talking to the different supporters groups, all that kind of stuff. But since this crisis has come, we've heard nothing. And so he's now quite rightly getting a lot of flack. For me, the issue is around recruitment. They wanted 2 directors of football, one to look after the training facilities, the staff, the youth, the loans and all that, which is Johan Langer, and the other one to look after first team recruitment, which was Paratici. Paratici then ditching us as quick as he could, leaves us with no director of football, and it all falling to Langer, and he's clearly not the man for recruitment. We saw that with Tell, how he couldn't get Tell across the line, for instance, and had to use Ange Postecoglou to come in and actually convince the player to come. So, there's lots and lots of problems in there, and this manager coming in is not going to be able to perform miracles, and it won't matter what manager you bring. The only difference with Pochettino and Zerbi to a certain extent is Pochettino will be forgiven a lot by the fans. Whereas if this doesn't work with Zerbi, there'll be a problem straight away. There's already fans, voicing their dissatisfaction with this appointment if it is to happen. So it's a little bit controversial, but it's what we expected, and probably one of the best available coaches out there at this moment in time that kind of fits the bill. But what this will mean is there will be no Pochettino, which still leaves that itch to scratch for a lot of fans. Pochettino has said himself that he's had no contact with the club. He's not been approached, so it kind of suggests that that's out the window. So we may as well give up on that idea if that's something that you're really looking for. So, and then just finally, just to pick up on the Kolo Muani thing. Yeah, great. Comes back, plays for France. Not sure how well he did. They were already 3-0 up when he comes on, so didn't add anything in terms of goals or whatever. So I'm not sure in terms of his overall performance. Didn't come on until 63 minutes. But yeah, good for him to get more minutes under his belt, improve, keep his fitness going rather than him sitting at home not doing anything. So yeah, interesting to see that. And I was quite surprised really that that's the first Tottenham player to play for France since the World Cup final in 2022. I find that's quite astounding, really. But yeah, obviously with the players that we've got, no one's in there. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see if he comes back and how he gets on. But obviously, from our point of view as a Tottenham player, he's been a bit of a flop my opinion. So yeah, not loads of different news today. It's all about Zerbi, and I think everyone's been talking about that all day. It will just be interesting when this announcement is made. I would suspect it'll be tomorrow. Getting late in the day now, so I expect it'll be tomorrow. Yeah, and we'll see what he has to say and what the plan is. Maybe Venkateshan will come out and talk us through what's going to happen now. And fingers crossed that Zerbi has enough in his locker to be able to turn this team on and get them actually performing well enough to get us the points we need to stay up, and that we don't have to rely on Man City getting points deductions to keep us in the league. So anyway, thanks for watching this video. If you've enjoyed the video, please do consider giving it a thumbs up. If you don't subscribe, please do subscribe to the channel. It really helps the algorithm. Any comments? Is the Zerbi the man for you? Do you want him? Do you have reservations about him? Who would you have rather had? You know, would you prefer him to come in the summer? Comment in the comment section below. Let us know what you're thinking from that point of view. If you are listening on audio platforms, again, thanks very much for listening in. Please hit the follow button, and if you can leave a review, that would be much appreciated. As I said at the start of the video, my name's Lee the Dorset Spur. I have my own YouTube channel which you can subscribe to. I'd love to have you over there. I'm slowly increasing my viewer base, which will be much appreciated. So if you've got to the end of this video, thanks very much. I know I've waffled on, but great to have you here, and I'll see you on the next one. Up the Spurs.